Hey guys, today I'll be looking at my build for Nidus Prime. First, I'll show you the build. As you can see, it's very concentrated on strength, and our secondary stat is duration. We're leaving the range at default, and we're sacrificing efficiency. We're also going to be using this augment, which allows us to get a huge critical chance bonus on our primary weapon when we hit 4 enemies with our first ability. And that's actually the reason why I added so much strength on this build, because as you can see, this gets us 480% critical chance without any stacking buffs, but if we stack up our augmented and other strength buffs, we can go even higher. And to make up for the efficiency issue, I've used Arcane Steadfast. I'll explain more how this works with Nidus later, but this will let us cast a lot of abilities for free and basically have infinite energy despite our low efficiency. And if you want to, you can also put growing power here. If you liked the video, pressing like and subscribe would help a lot to keep me motivated towards making more and more videos for you guys. Anyways, after I've shown you the frame build, I'll show you the weapon I'm using. You do not have to use these, but I've chosen these to synergize with my build specifically. So you can see here, we already have a massive 350% chance to crit, which is already a red crit, without any buffs. And here's my build. It does have a riven. You don't have to use a riven, but it will be really helpful. And then this lets you deal more damage to enemies that don't get one shot, like Demolists and Acolytes, so you can keep hitting them for more and more damage. We're going to use this as a buff stick for 60% extra strength by shooting this into crowds with Dollfire. We can also get some nice overguard with it, but we're not actually using this as a tool to kill, just a buff stick. And then for the melee, you can use the infested-themed star so that you do a slam attack into a group of enemies in the larva and kill them. Here's my build. Again, has a riven, but you do not absolutely need one. And then for the arcane, we're using an exposure to deal even more damage. So this is really good for killing acolytes. And then for the companion, I'm just going to use the Panzer to spread some viral procs. Alright, next let's explain, in case you're not familiar, all of Nidus' abilities and how they work together. So Nidus' passive is that he's able to generate stacks of mutation when he hits enemies with his first ability, or when he kills stuff in his ravenous. So these mutation stacks, you can get up to 100, and if you want to, you can actually go above that if you put the augment, but I'm not using that on this build because it does add a cooldown to the invincibility, which I don't like. Basically, as long as you have enough mutation, you won't die if you get killed. Instead, you'll enter an invulnerability state in which you can still like move freely and stuff for 5 seconds, and then after that you might die again and then trigger it again. But as long as you keep your mutation stacks, you cannot die, no matter how much damage is coming your way. And this is your ability to basically, your main ability to get mutation stacks. You'll want to try to hit multiple enemies. If you hit like enough enemies, then you get refunded all of the energy cost. And this synergizes with the steadfast because even if you don't hit like enough enemies to refund the cost every time, steadfast makes part of those casts free. So even if you miss once in a while, you're still going to be generating way more energy than you use. So you'll have a higher effective energy pool as compared to using energize. So steadfast is really the way to go for Nidus due to this unique mechanic with this first ability. And as you can see, the augments, I put this augment and it gives this critical chance. For larva, you cast this and then it grabs enemies around you and pulls them together. This is really useful, of course, for using with your one. So you cast usually 2 and then spam 1 until they're all dead. And then even if you don't use the 1 to kill them, you can still shoot the stuff that's in the larva and it'll still have a chance to generate mutation stacks. So don't feel like you're forced to only use virulence. For this ability, this is really good for higher level steelfast missions because you're gonna be taking a lot of damage, you have no shield or overguard gating. So basically you're gonna have to rely on this. You link to like some enemy and then it will make you have a damage resistance and share some damage with the enemy that you're linking to. And if you're a team player, this ability, you should cast it on your allies, not the enemies, because this will give your allies a huge strength bonus as well as yourself. So try to cast on your team's Wisp, Oberon, or someone else that can snapshot the buffs, and you'll get some huge reservoir buffs, or maybe the Rhino for a huge roar. And then last but not least, this is Nidus's ultimate ability, Ravenous. It does cost 3 mutation stacks, but it's well worth it because you summon an area that spawns maggots and heals you and other allies, and then stuff that like you kill with this active will also be gaining you stacks of Ravenous due to the maggots. And that's it. So basically, at a high level, what you want to do is use this for survivability, cast this to group stuff, spam this on the enemies that you grouped up to get your mutation stacks up, and then you'll want to keep this up for some CC with the maggots as well as more mutation stacks and a heal for you and your allies. What you do is cast your 2 to grab all the enemies and then start casting your 1. And then you'll see you're getting a lot of mutation stacks. And then you can cast your ultimate ability. And then this will help you get more mutation stacks. Hold them again. Keep casting this. And notice that we have the huge red crit buff in the top right. And just as a bonus, let me also show you in case you don't like the Electron for some reason. I have this nice burst on blast build. So we put heat. No, sorry, we put corrosive and cold, but this synergizes with the heat on the Incarnon mode to turn to corrosive and blast. And let me show you real quick. And then now let's have to put the blast, and you'll see they all died. Once again. Alright, we're in a Steel Path Survival mission. I'm gonna pop Energize at the start.
The infested are releasing toxic spores into the area. The emergency life support I am delivering is your only chance for survival.
Now we cast the larva to group them, and we cast the first ability. As you can see, it's refunding my energy, and I can keep spamming it even though I have a really low energy pool. I'm taking a lot of damage, so let's link to the enemy, and then put our healing cooldown. So now I'm redirecting damage to my linked enemy, and also healing up due to the healing field. I have already gotten a 500% critical chance buff in the top right, 514%, which I can raise even higher, and also gain overguard. Alright, let's see how much we have now.
Prepare for life support.
588% critical chance buff on our Electron Incarnon. And your link target will die, so you want to make sure that you do refresh it and try not to like shoot it because you might kill it with your huge red crits.
I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more.
As you can see, I'm gaining the mutation stacks very rapidly. It's barely been 2 minutes and I'm already at almost 100. And one quirk is that with Nidus, you can't actually cast his one until it comes back, so you can't like spam cast it. And the longer the range is, the less you can cast it, so for Nidus, you actually don't want too much range. That's why I kept it at default. More range helps you pull them with larva, but it'll reduce the effectiveness of your one, so that's why you shouldn't put too much rain on Nidus. And
Get ready for a count.
after you reach 100 stacks of mutation, you'll see that the icon turns different. And then when I cast again, it'll reduce down to 97. So once you get that icon, you'll know that you're maxed out. And we can always use our melee. Let's hold the enemies. And then
Additional
slam.
life support has arrived.
Another quirk with Nidus is you cannot cast the larva either until the old larva is gone. So you see, if I cast the larva here, it grabs, and I try to cast it again, I can't cast it. It's already in use. So I have to kill the enemies first before I can cast it. And again, there's also an element that fixes that, but it's not that good for like long steel missions. So I didn't put it in this build. But if you want that quality of life, you can put the like larva armament in your build. And here's the acolyte. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, I messed up a little bit there, but as you can see, it died very fast once I found where it was and hit it with the red crit. It had no chance. And even if it did kill us, we have our invulnerability through mutation, so we're totally safe. Also, in case you're interested, I do have another build that's more casting focused that abuses the larva augment with Whiff's Resurge to basically nuke the enemies that you catch with your larva. So that's another way to play Nidus if you want some variety or don't like playing him as a weapon platform.